Hi, I'm Liz Scarf and welcome to this little channel exploring what it means to learn together about this interesting idea we're calling cultural change, cultural repair. And this video is step 4 in this ridiculous 5 steps of cultural repair. As every video, if you haven't watched the other ones, it's ridiculous because cultural repair is so subjective, so amorphous as an idea, can be done in so many different ways, means so many different things depending on who you are and the culture you're in. And so the idea of having 5 steps is like a bit ridiculous, and also helps us kind of refine our thinking sometimes, because cultural repair is a very complex area and it's hard to sit with complexity for a long time. We absolutely have to expand our capacity for sitting with complexity, and it's difficult. So sometimes like really whittling our thinking down is a useful exercise, as long as we don't get hooked on the idea that, oh, these are the 5 steps. No, and they're not even steps, it's not even linear. That all said, step number 4, and I think this is like a part A and part B, but I'm going to put it all in one video. And neither of these things are particularly new. So I just kind of really want to flag that. You will have heard it before, but I really want to bring it into this cultural repair context because I think it's particularly relevant. The first one is about how to work out what to do in your life in terms of what is your calling. Now, in a lot of cultural repair spaces, social change spaces, right, a lot of people come into it going, okay, what's the big issue of my time, of my community? That's where I should put my efforts. Where are people suffering the most? That's where I should put my efforts. What am I best at? Like, what are the skills I already have, or my natural talents, the things that I'm good at, the obvious way in which I should contribute, right? And so there is a duty drive in the back there, right? Like, I should just do what's needed based on what I'm seeing in the situation and what I think my skills are, kind of thing, what I can do that's easy for me or that's others can't. Now, obviously, this is not a bad thing in a lot of ways. It's generally not sustainable as an approach, though. And people burn out in this space a lot, coming from a very duty-driven perspective. And so the other perspective, of course, is to really work out what's your calling. So what is it that and this will change over your lifetime probably, right? It's not just one thing. But what is it that you really feel in yourself, this incredible power or feedback for, or what really lights you up? And actually go and do that within the cultural repair context. It might not be aligned with like your best skills, actually, or it might not be addressing the biggest issue of the times, right? But partly why I think it's really important is because I certainly think for Western culture, part of the issue is we don't have enough space to really follow our own process, our own experience of what we're here to do in the world. We're kind of continually being homogenized into, you should do this, you should do that, you should do the other. This is what a good person does in this context, and da-da-da-da-da. It's very, very limiting, and it collapses diversity. And I think this is one of the biggest cultural repair issues, is the homogenization, right? The collapsing of diversity. Life is rooted in diversity, and we collapse it so much in Western culture. And it happens, doesn't matter what kind of alternative group you're in, the drive to kind of collapse diversity is always there, and then the pushback to kind of increase diversity. It's a really natural state, right? It's definitely in social change, it's definitely in cultural repair spaces. So it's a really challenging thing to do, to go, actually, you know what, I'm not going to do the thing that everyone says one is supposed to do. Here's the little light inside of me that I want to fan and grow and give to the world. So that's the first part. Leading into the second part, which is make something. So whatever your calling is, take it and make something and create something that goes out into the world. Making a mark is about meaning, and having meaning in life is really crucial, and it's a massive issue in Western culture particularly, is a lot of lives with insufficient meaning. People are very unhappy, they treat each other poorly, they treat their bodies, they treat the planet poorly, because they don't actually have enough kind of really solid meaning that really, really touches them. And making a mark is about making meaning. And the other thing I think it also really honours being alive, right? But the big thing around it for me is about creating and making something, is that it's life affirming. And there's a lot of ways in which Western culture, and definitely I see it in social change movements and a whole range of things, that are not life affirming at all. They're very negative and critical and punitive, and they're actually quite against life and creation, and against diversity, as I was saying before, the homogenization. And so I think having a life affirming attitude is incredibly important in cultural repair work and sits at the core of a lot of cultural wounds. And also, and that's why I think like making something and creating something and putting it out into the world as here's this little thing. It doesn't have to be a big thing. You know, it could be like maybe you're knitting, or maybe you get together a group of friends to knit. I love knitting. Up to something really, really big and grand. It actually doesn't matter so much the scale. It's the sense of alignment and meaning and purpose and feeling of creation, and affirming life that I think just keeps repaying in your own psychology and is a little contribution to shifting culture. So that's my step 4. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that, whether you think it's a load of baloney or you think it's bang on, and ways in which you find to work out what is your path, your contribution, and what is it that you make and create. I'd love to hear about it. Okay, bye.